What is going on, everybody? How we doing today? As usual, hope doing well. It is a Thursday night, but not just any Thursday night. It is a Thanksgiving Thursday night, and I want to say first and foremost, Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there today. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Assuming it's not over yet, assuming it's over at this point, assuming you're back home, settling in for the night and stuff like that, like I am. Um, you're gonna have to forgive me. I had my Thanksgiving meal, right? And the one year where I was like, nah, I won't bring home any fucking like leftovers or anything like that. That's the year that I'm hungry by the time I get home. Um, I wasn't offered leftovers is the thing. I feel like it'd be a little weird for me to be like, hey, I go to my cousin's house. Hey, cousin, could I bring some food home? It's like they have way too much food to use themselves. Like, of course, I'm sure they would be like, yeah, sure, let's fucking like just take it. But um, I I I just feel weird. I just feel weird by you know, asking and things like that. So I didn't bring any food home, and because of that, I had to stop and I grabbed some chicken wings from a store. So I'm gonna be munching on those for a second or two. But um, what's going on, Zach? What's going on, Blasting Rope? The Dawn 67. What's going on, Buster Zuzu? By the way, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but I guess YouTube has changed the chat function on Oh, thank you very much, the Dawn 67. I appreciate the dollar menu early access club. I'll be honest with you. I'm not really doing videos like that anymore. I appreciate you becoming a member though. So thank you so much for that. Um, what I was saying is, for some reason, YouTube decided it would switch up its chat function where instead of showing you the username of the person, it shows you the handle that the person has, almost like Twitter, right? Where it's like at and then your handle, and then you can pick your name specifically, right? Instead of showing me the name that everybody picked that they want to go by, it's now showing me the handle. So that's really fucking annoying. But that's why if I seem like I don't remember you, it's not that I forgot you. It's that you have a different name in my chat right now. So I apologize for that. If I'm like, oh hey, um, yeah, that's annoying. It used to say Big Boss for me. And exactly, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Big Boss. I think that's Big Boss, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just gonna go by Buster Zuzu. But I was like, no, no, I'm like it's dumb. It's fucking stupid. It's just taking away any originality or anything that you have. You're now just a handle. That's all you are. Um, Very annoying. I prefer autistic harem. Yes. I have this crappy name because they forced me to do a first and last name, so I did Whoa, WH. Yeah, that was one of the worst changes that came around in the earlier days of YouTube. Oh, excuse me. For one thing, Google wanted to try its hand at a social media platform, so they had like I think it was Google Plus or something like that. And in order to make a YouTube channel, you had to make a Google Plus account, and Google Plus was supposed to be like Google's Facebook almost. And because of that, everybody was expected to use their real name. You couldn't just be like XX lamp computer XX anymore on YouTube. Um, that's how everybody used to be. Nobody used to use their real name. That was like the thing you did not do on the internet back in the day. We were taught about that in computer safety, right? We didn't have like computer safety class per se, but we had computer class. And that is something that they told us is like, look, don't, if you happen to be on the internet, don't tell people stuff. Don't tell people things. You can't do that. Um, I heard they're beta testing YouTube DMs. I remember when you used to have DMs on YouTube. You used to be able to message people back and forth on YouTube and stuff like that. And it was probably the worst functioning YouTube feature that I've ever seen, and easily the worst functioning messenger that I've ever seen on any kind of social media site. So they ended up taking it away, I want to say in like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. and now they're trying to be Twitter again. That's one of the worst things about like TikTok, right? And here's the thing, right? I don't think TikTok in and of itself is the reason for this, but I do think it we really turned a corner when TikTok became huge and everybody started trying to copy TikTok. Everything is just becoming the same now. You have YouTube Shorts, you have Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels. You have TikTok, of course. You have video on Twitter, and I'm sure that if there is any opportunity, they will have some kind of short form thing for Twitter, and they do, they do. It's just that the infrastructure is there. It's just that they aren't specifically like, hey, a minute or less. Um, it's still that same like you click on a video and then it just auto plays the next video, next video, next video, next video, next video, and stuff like that. But like everywhere is trying to be everyone. You know, everything is just like the same, and it's so fucking. It's so annoying. It's so stupid. Mhm. Bring back video replies. Video replies were always a good idea. Video replies, genuinely, I think were always a good thing. Um, I mean, YouTube has grown, right? But one of the big things YouTube was used for back in the day, and it is still used for this, but it's definitely gone in a different direction, and it's grown well beyond this. Is debate and vlogging and stuff like that, and not vlogging like Logan Paul vlogging and stuff like that, but literally sitting in front of a camera, not too dissimilar to what I'm doing right now, and just sharing your thoughts on stuff. That's what YouTube used to be. And because of that, having video replies that would pop up right next to the video were usually a good thing. Now, obviously, that system can be abused. You had like reply girls or something like that on YouTube, where that was like even before titty streamers were a thing. It was like, you know, wearing shirts down here and doing reply videos to people they don't even care about just to try and get views. You had that sort of thing, but I mean, whatever you have, there's going to be somebody who's trying to find a way to abuse it. That's just the way that it is. That's one of the things that annoys me about the world is that part of refinement culture is not just that people want to get better or people want to streamline things. It's also that a lot of the time people are trying to find ways to like overcome things that, yeah, they're not exactly the greatest. They're not what you would call a good thing, but it's the price you pay, if you will. Um, it's like, for instance, right? Guns. Guns are absolutely positively necessary for everybody, right? Everybody should be able to have firearms, and as a result, there's gonna be firearm deaths. That's just the way it is. That's how it goes. You know, if you try to fix firearm deaths, the logical conclusion of that is that you're just going to take away firearms. And of course, we know theory and practicality don't line up. We all know what happens when you try and take away firearms in the real world, right? But theoretically, you're just getting closer and closer as time goes on to just being like no more guns ever, no matter what. And that is the kind of situation that we're in. We've been in that for a long time. Is like, yeah, you're gonna have people who say shit that like it's not kosher. you know you're gonna have things where like, yeah, somebody might get tricked and they might lose money and stuff like that. You're gonna have that sort of thing, but that is the price of freedom. And I'm sure if I missed out on something, if I lost something, I'm sure I'd probably be some kind of pissed off too, right? I might even be like, they can't fucking do that, they shouldn't fucking do that. But keep in mind, I'm pissed off in the moment, so I might not be thinking properly about it, right? You know? Dude, I swear 2020 Twitter was just for contrarianism, reaction gifs, and reposting TikToks. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm not an Elon dick rider. I'm skeptical of the guy. I don't think he's evil. I don't think he's like the worst or anything like that. You can't find people who are just like, Elon Musk is just a guy. It's always like people who love the fuck out of him or people who cannot stand him. I feel like, Um, I'll be the based centrist. I'll be the based and red pilled radical centrist about the EQ, the Elon question. Um, like with like there are good things about Twitter and there are bad things about Twitter, modern Twitter. One of the bad things is that he implemented that speech not reach bullshit, which is exactly what shadow banning was. That's what shadow banning was. He literally said, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna undo shadow banning, but we're also gonna have shadow banning." That's what he did. Excuse me. Twitter was the first place where shadow banning really became a thing. Um, and if Elon was willing to, he could completely and totally destroy the concept of a shadow ban just by removing that infrastructure, the ability to do that, just by removing that from Twitter. But he doesn't do that, because at the end of the day, Elon, look, you can't expect perfection out of anybody. I don't expect perfection out of Elon or something like that, right? But also, um, more he's a businessman trying to make money. He's a businessman trying to make money is what he's trying to do. I never would have gotten onto Twitter until Elon bought it. Mm. Excuse me. It was kind of the same thing with me. Like, I think Elon bought Twitter around the time that I met Sam. Um, and me, I never thought of getting a Twitter until Sam asked me one day because he was gonna post something with me in it and he wanted to be able to tag me in it. He was like, "Yo, do you have a Twitter?" And I was like, "I mean, shit, I can make one." And by then it was Elon Twitter. But if it was not Elon Twitter, I probably would have stayed off. I probably would have stayed off it. I would have been like, "Nah, I don't even want the cloud on Twitter or anything like that." I'm snuff maxing and jolly maxing at the same time. You get you watching snuff films? Is that what you're into, Uncle Ruckus? What's going on, Sid? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving too, man. You know, um, I feel like there was something else that I just saw. Of course, my Kick chat. Nobody watches me on Kick, and because of that, I get random bots like at Scott Sullivan MMA. Would you like many viewers? Let's make you popular. And then a random website. Should I start botting? Should I start botting my Kick chat? Should I just not my Kick chat, my Kick viewers? Should I just bot my Kick viewers and like try and trick some people into giving me sponsorship deals? Is that what I should do? Bug him. How about this fight tank hosted by Scott Sullivan MMA? Guys picked from local gyms around town competing for the grand prize tournament style in a single house blood sport, but quaint and homey. Um, oh, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. I gotta sneeze. Damn. Excuse me. Jeez. Like if there was one fight event thing that I would do, I don't have the connections, I don't have the money, I just don't have the resources for this, right? If there was one fight thing I would do, what it would be is I would take people who don't know how to fight and I would train them up over the course of say 6 weeks, you know. Um and I've talked about this before. I actually sent this as an idea to Sam just because it's like whatever, I might as well shoot my shot and be like, "Hey, this is something that ran into my head." But the idea would be, say, 6, maybe 8 weeks, right? You have however many people you would have to fill 6 or 8 weeks of competition, right? The first week you're just training, that's it. And then let's say we start on Sunday, right? We start on Sunday. Saturday is going to be the first fight, right? Whoever wins, they move on and they keep training is the thing. So you have people who have never fought, they've never even been in a fight in their lives, they've never had any martial arts training. And you see just how good you can make them at fighting over the course of 6 to 8 weeks, just with nothing but training throughout that time period. I think that would be an interesting experiment, and I think people would like to see something like that if you could like put something together like that, you know? I think the same people, there's not that many people who watch The Ultimate Fighter. I don't know why The Ultimate Fighter is still on, right? But the people who are fascinated by The Ultimate Fighter, they may be fascinated by something like that too, you know? Um, I think it would be cool to see, and I think you would be surprised at how quickly somebody might be able to get proficient, depending on how naturally athletic they are, and how how dedicated they are. I think that would be a good idea, but it's like I said, I just don't have the time, the energy, more importantly, the money and the resources. You know, I can only imagine the I can only imagine the screenshots I'm gonna get sent of me eating these fucking wings and shit like that. Um, hmm, yeah, fuck it. Maybe I'll buy viewers. And yeah, I think I keep I keep meaning to take this thing down because like I've talked about it. I'm stuck between keeping it up and seeing if people will pay me money to do stupid shit, or or just taking it down because I know nobody's gonna pay me to do stupid shit, you know. But yeah, I think I might have put it on. Hold on one second. We were supposed to play Glover. I just remembered. I want to get Glover up. I'm like 50-50 on Glover. Um, I'm like 50-50 on yes, Quran verse is here, you know, but it's not on the other one. Almost forgot to pull Steam up. Well, like I said, I'm like 50-50 on Glover, you know. I was supposed to stream at 9 today, and the 9 p.m. stream just didn't work out. Um, I ended up having to do some stuff after I went to my relative's house, you know. Honest says you can make your take on Fight Tank a reality in India, grow from that. People are like Pokemon over there. I could, honestly. Happy Thanksgiving, New Karu 87. Um, hold the frick on. Is Scott actually live? This doesn't make any sense. What the hell? Yeah, I know. What are your thoughts on Castlevania Symphony of the Night? I've never played any Castlevania games. I watched part of the Castlevania TV show that is available on Netflix, but I haven't watched the whole thing. It's actually a pretty good show, honestly. I do enjoy it from what I remember. I watched it in like 2018, you know, like the first season. It was I enjoyed it, but I never played any of the Castlevania games. If I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot of games that if you ask me about, I'd be like, I've never played it, and you might be like, oh, what? You gotta, you know? What? What Pokemon has the most Indian physiognomy? That's a good question. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're fucking out there. was watching He Is Risen earlier, the Sopranos Thanksgiving episode. Um, yeah, I miss watching The Sopranos. I might actually have to watch The Sopranos again one day. I might have to watch all the way through because I really did enjoy The Sopranos. It is a really great a really great um it is a really great series. I love the hell out of it, you know. Excuse me. Ch- Charmander sing. Love the freaking streams, man. They make me smile harder than Mam Danny. Yeah, man. Like I love my family, but being around my family is hard sometimes because like they you know I've talked a little bit about stuff like this before, but you know when somebody just wants to be right, they don't want to or not be right, but you know when somebody wants to sound right, they don't want to actually be right. You know, like that's my family, especially talking politics, and I typically don't make the mistake of chiming in anymore, right? Um, but I did today. They were talking about how you know, tons of Muslims come to the country and you know, they start out like basically explaining what takia is. Um that is a an actual concept in Islam where they will lie to people about the nature of Islam. You know, they were doing that boomer thing where it's like, and you know what? There's too many Muslims in the country, and they're gonna start trying to take over. And oh, all my family's from the Northeast. Nobody's from the South, but they're all making this voice. These damn Muslims are coming over, and they're gonna they're gonna took our gerbs and all that shit. I mentioned that by name. I was like, oh yeah, it's called taqiya. It's the concept in Islam where when they're a minority, they'll lie and they'll say, no, we're the religion of peace. We're friends. We don't want to impose on you. But then as soon as they get enough of a majority to vote in whatever the hell they want, they simply don't care about you anymore, and they will like try to fucking kill you, you know? Like I explained that, and even though we were on the topic, like the conversation just like stopped for a half a second. You know, one of those like when somebody says something and you're like, did he really just say that? And it's because that's all they wanted to do was just the these damn Muslims or they're coming in. It's so annoying to find people who you agree with, but for the wrong reasons. You know, it's like, oh man, I don't know. Castlevania games are very good. Castlevania 1, 3, the Japanese version 4. Um, Castlevania Rondo of Blood, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, very solid series. Me likey. Um, what's Musel? Muscle? Who'd win in a fight, Jimmy or Sing? Depends on what kind of fight it is. Man, I just kind of want to get through these as best I can, you know. Um, Fluoride stereotype shit, exactly. You know. Oh man, yeah, like it's like this is why just because like it's it's exactly why I believe in elitism in the first place. You know, it's exactly why I abandoned the idea of democracy or even just like the idea that we're all equal. We're not born equal. We're not created equal, you know? equal under the law is different from equal in spirituality. You know, some of us are just of a higher caste than others. You know, um, and if like it's just one of those classic things where it's like you think because somebody agrees with you, they're on your side, they want the same thing, they're willing to do what needs to be done, or like, you know, that they're like the same kind of person as you. But no, you find out, oh no, this guy is just like a genuine piece of shit, you know. It's like the reason why boomers would be upset that there's tons of immigrants and Muslims coming in is because like these guys are getting government handouts. Meanwhile, what are boomers doing? Boomers are all retired and they're living on government handouts. Fucking they're really just mad that the government handouts are going to the fucking illegals instead of them. You know, there's a guy I used to watch, Turd Flinging Monkey. He was involved in the Tea Party. You guys remember that fucking shit show, the Tea Party? I think I was in like the seventh or eighth grade when that became a thing. Um, he said that the reason the tea and I don't know this for sure, but he said the reason the Tea Party fell apart, which he was a part of, by the way, the reason the Tea Party fell apart was because when the boomers figured out that Obamacare was not going to affect their social security, they were like, ah, well, I don't care anymore. As long as it don't affect my social security, I'm all right with it. I mean, I still think that Obama was born in Kenya, but he's a piece of shit. Not because he's black or anything. I'd vote for a black guy if he was a Republican, but because God damn it, we love America and he hates it. You know, well, that's insane. No, TFM. I was on TFM's show a couple of times. I used to have a channel that messed around. You know, I used to have a channel. I used to do MGTOW YouTube videos back in the day. You know, um, excuse me. Yeah, I used to do MGTOW YouTube videos back in the day. I was featured on his channel at one point. He allowed me as a guest on his channel years ago. And then in addition to that, um, oh yeah, his live stream a couple of times. But honestly, like TFM's kind of a dickhead. I'm being honest with you, kind of fucking sucks. But I mean, hey, you know, if you're right about something, you're right about something. All right, I got like one more of these that I got to take a bite out of. Michelle Obama. You mean Big Mike? Michelle Obama is the hottest woman I've ever seen. Come on, live chat. Smart moron. I couldn't I couldn't find I couldn't find your chat about Michelle Obama in the YouTube chat. I had to look at the multi-stream chat, the live stream chat in order to see it. And the reason for that, drums and flats. And you're asking me which one I like better. I don't know. I'd say probably drums, honestly, but um my my shell of bomber. Um, YouTube censored your Michelle Obama comment. I think that's funny. My fucking dog's a bastard. Can you guys hear my dog whining? He just he just stands outside the door whining, and everybody ignores him. It's like we don't know what else to do, you know. He's just like he's just a difficult breed, and he's getting closer and closer to the end of his life, and it just kind of is what it is, you know. Even YouTube found that offensive. That's what I was gonna say. Even YouTube was like, "Yeah, fucking right, guy. Yeah, fucking right." Gen Xers are shaping up to be worse boomers than boomers were. Oh yeah, for sure. You know. Excuse me. And I think millennials are shaping up to be worse as well, or at the very least, just as bad. You know, it sucks. Like me, I'm either the youngest millennial or the oldest Zoomer, depending on how you look at it. But I mostly identify with millennial culture because specifically that late millennial culture. You know, I grew up I grew up like checking out the scene girls and the emo girls and the mall goth type chicks who would go around school. You know, I used to listen to System of a Down and Corn and shit like that. You know, stuff that like the type of stuff that Zoomers born in like 2002. Excuse me, it's it's honestly like the way that I think of like Alice in Chains is the way that a lot of people think of like Corn and System of a Down and stuff like that. Excuse me, where um I was born just in time to be alive for that stuff, but I don't remember it because I was a child. You know, I don't remember Alice. I don't remember anything from Alice in Chains. You know, I didn't know Lane Staley died in 2002 until like 2005. I was like, whoa, dude, I'd love to see these guys in concert one day. Oops, nope, 3 years too late. You know, um, excuse me, but like I can just see the millennial generation being the exact same way, you know. And I don't know, maybe each and every generation was the same way in one way or another, you know. But I don't know. I feel like we definitely hit a turning point with the boomers, you know. I think like I have a theory that I haven't talked about too much, but I have talked about it every now and again when it comes to the boomers, right? Um, we don't realize it, but the concept of a teenager, especially the American teenager, that is something that is incredibly new. That is not even 100 years old yet. You didn't have that concept even with like some of our grandparents. Like my grandparents, specifically the ones on my dad's side, they were alive for the Great Depression. You know, they didn't get to be teenagers. They had to fucking quit school and work. That's what they had to do. You know, um, you had to grow up fast back in the day. Even before that, being a blacksmith, for instance, right, or any other kind of trade that you could have picked up in like a colonial or like middle age or Renaissance or just any kind of thing back then. You weren't doing that at the age of like 16, 17. It was like you're 7 or 8 years old and you get to go to the blacksmith's place and you gotta like shovel coals for him. You gotta sweep up after he's done. And eventually, as time goes on, after years and years and years, he keeps having you do more and more stuff that is increasing in the amount of complication and the amount of skill, and he shows you stuff and things like that, and before you know it you're a blacksmith, right? That's what you did in your youth. The idea that you could be like a fucking teeny bopper who like maybe you have a part-time job, but it's really only because you know you just want some spending money so you can take your best girl out, you can take your main squeeze out to the soda shop and get an egg cream. The idea of that is like unheard of just a few generations ago, you know? And Because the baby boomers were the first generation that actually got to be teenagers in that way. They got to listen to the Beach Boys. They got their own cars. They got to go to the, like I said, the fucking ice cream parlor and hang out. You know, because they got to do that, they have been chasing that high ever since the 50s. And that's why you have these boomers who, like, they retire and the first thing they do is they buy a sports car, whether it's like a newer model the or if it's one that they saw in like 1972 but they couldn't buy it because they had kids, you know. um they're just constantly chasing the dragon. They're just constantly trying their best to bring back or to relive or to recreate the time where they didn't have to worry about anything. And I can understand that as somebody who yearns for the past in some ways. I look back and I think about the people that I met, the things that I did, the feelings that I had. It's like, man, like I wish I could recapture that, even if only for a moment. But I'm not gonna sell my children out for that. I'm not gonna sell my children's future. I'm not gonna tell my kids to get fucked so that I can have a sports car. Oh, you know, like fucking baby. I wanted to like hit my mom with the cake earlier when I kind of dropped that hint where I was like, yeah, I mean, we're trying to get out of here, and it'd be nice if we had somewhere. It would have been nice if we could have, did something with that, with one of those properties Grampy had. And she was like, oh, well, it was just in such a state of disrepair, it wasn't even worth it. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? We get a free house, and you're telling me it wouldn't be worth it for me to fix it up? Shut the fuck up. We could have tore it down and built on it. It had all the fixtures it needed. We just needed four walls and a roof. That's it. Like, at worst, that's the issue. You know, that's like, I've told this story before. I don't want to bitch too much. It is Thanksgiving. We should be talking about what we're thankful for, but we are just kind of, hanging out and going wherever the wind takes us, right? But my grandfather died in 2021. I want to say like 7 or 8 months after I got married. So it's not like my parents weren't sure what was going on with me and my wife or anything like that. Um, and I mean, obviously, I'm distraught. Like, that's my, not just my grandfather, but my last grandparent. I don't have any more grandparents, right? And he died because of COVID. Not that that's like that important, but I'm just kind of, I'm just like, I'm trying to think about every little detail. He died and he left two properties. One of them was the house that he had lived in until he got put in the hospital. The other one was a house that I guess belonged to a family member of his that he was able to get a hold of. Um, and he was using it as an extra income stream. He was renting it out. So this is two properties, right? Now I have a mom and I have an aunt. Those are his two daughters, the only children that he had, and only one of the daughters, my mom, had children, two children, my brother and I, right? Um, the other daughter, my aunt, she has a husband and a bunch of cats. She's in her like 50s now. She ain't having no fucking kids. They're dinks. Instead of thinking, hey, so we both have houses, meaning my mom and her sister, we both have houses. We're both locked in at a pretty good rate. We're not doing terrible for ourselves. Why don't we see if the kids want one or both of these and we can work something out? Instead of doing that, they decided what they would do is they would sell the rental property, and then they would take that money, they would use it in this weird maneuver where, like, when my grandfather died, he gave the house to both his children, 50-50 split. They took that money, and then they fucking, like, basically my mom took all that money. and was like, okay, fine, you can have the other half of you can have the other half of dad's house. And my aunt moved into my grandfather's house. You know, I've been pissed off about that, right? For a long time. I haven't ever confronted my mom about it because it's pointless. There's no point in talking to boomers about anything, right? But I did kind of drop something today. I told my mom about how we are like really starting to gear up to get the fuck out of New England. And it would be nice if we could stay, but unfortunately, we can't find a place. It would have been nice if we could have done something with one of Grampy's rental properties, but that didn't happen. And my mom had the gall to be like, "Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that property that your grandfather had, it was in such a state of disrepair, it just wasn't even worth it." I wanted to grab the chair legs and just that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take all of the desserts and put them on the table that she was sitting at and just flip the table into her is what I wanted to do. You know? And now because of that fucking retarded shit, they're not going to get to know their grandkids. I'm not going to and here's the thing, you shouldn't like it's not good to have it's not good to approach things with like a I'll show you kind of mindset. It's not good to be like I'll have my revenge. That's not it's not good to be like that. You should be able to just like let things go as best you can. Um and I don't like I'm not moving because I want to punish my parents or anything like that. I'm moving if something doesn't pop up in the next like geez if something doesn't pop up in the next 7 or 8 months that keeps me around, then we're moving because the only way that we're going to be able to survive is by getting away from here. And because of that, my parents are not going to know their grandkids. I'm not saying they're going to be kept away from their grandkids or anything like that, but one of the most rewarding things early on in my life, one of the things that I really, really enjoyed, even later in life, was having my grandparents be such a big piece of my life. Every Saturday, I used to go over to my nana's house. Um, every like month or two, I would hang out with my other grandparents. My nana on my dad's side. His dad died before I was born, so I only ever knew my nana. And then my Grammy and my Grampy on my mom's side, right? One of the most rewarding things from when I was a child was having such a good relationship, such a close relationship with my grandparents. And if there was anything that I could do regarding that, the only thing I would ask for is just more time with all of my grandparents. And I kick myself a little bit when I think about times where like Grammy and Grampy came over, and instead of hanging out with them and talking with them about something, I just like I stayed in the TV room, you know. I kept playing with my blocks or something like that. That is something that I genuinely like I regret and I'm sad about. I wish that I had more conversations about like, just anything with my grandparents, you know. Um I'd give anything for that. So to know that my kids are not going to have that kind of relationship with their grandparents because we're going to be hundreds of miles away, we're going to be hours away. I only ever lived like 2 to 4 miles away from my grandparents my entire life, for the most part. Like that is I weep for my children a little bit. Not for my parents because you know what? They made their decision. They made their bed, they can lie in it. And when they hit me up like, "Can I see the kids?" I'm going to be like, "Fucking come down here or shut up and leave me alone." you know? Like maybe you should have helped me. Maybe you should have helped me out. For one thing, I'd have kids by now. The reason my wife and I don't have kids yet is because of that shit because we live in roach infested apartments that cost way too fucking much, and because of that we have to have more people than we want to live with in our apartments. If my wife and I could live on our own, we would, but we can't because it's that fucked up here, you know? And it's just like holy fucking shit, man. Where are you looking to move to? We have ideas. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to talk too much about like ideas about where we will go. But we have ideas, you know. Uh, ah, Ball joint. I don't know if he's talking to me or if he's talking to somebody else. You literally irrationally hate people of color and for no reason. No, ball joint retracted the message, but don't worry, I can still see it. You just literally irrationally hate people of color and for no reason. You don't even know that you piece of shit white, you piece of shit racist oppressor. And by the way, it is fucking disgusting that. And then he just, you know, that was all. That was all. Yeah. Mom's still alive. LOL. She gambled my grandpa's inheritance from him dying. That is in my name. It was like 5 or 10K or something. Yeah, like so not something similar, but like I had like 10 grand or maybe even a little bit more that my grandfather left behind for me when he died. And the thing is, I didn't have a car yet. Um, I spent months waiting because my parents said, "Oh, hey, here's the deal. We're going to give you dad's car, but we're still paying it off. So you just got to give us some time to pay it off." Um, I started looking for cars on my own. I found like a this is like 2019, 2020 or something like that. I found what I think was like a 2015 Ford Focus for like 6 grand, which like that, I'm sure there was going to be shit wrong with it. I'm sure there was going to be shit wrong with it, right? But um, I may have been able to get the dealership to take care of all that, you know? I mean, like, that's the law. If there's something wrong with the car that quick, like that obvious, they have to fix it, you know? I could have had that financed. It would have helped me to build credit. And I mean, like, look, you don't want to be financing cars and stuff like that, but also, like, what's $6,000 financed? I had a couple thousand that I would have threw down as a down payment. My monthly would have been nothing. My monthly would have been like 150, maybe $200 probably. I would guess, right? Maybe less, maybe a little bit more. The bottom line being that I could have been in a situation where I was paying off that over time, and I could have gotten that lump sum of 10 grand that I could have used to say buy Bitcoin, because Bitcoin at that time was like $3,000 to $4,000 a coin. Maybe it was more. Maybe it was more. I forget the exact timeline. But the bottom line is, I could have had that money to invest in things that would have made me more money now if I had just done that. But instead, my parents, they decided they wanted to pull this fucking weird maneuver bullshit so that they could dump their car on me, which it's not a bad car. When I say dump, I don't mean like it fucking sucked and they just wanted to get rid of it, but like um it's just like even the help is not help, you know? Like and that's one of the most, it's underappreciated even though people kind of understand it, is the help that does not help that you get from boomers. You know, the whole oh well, if you want a job, you just walk in, you give him a handshake, you look him in the eye, and you'll get that job, like that type of shit. You know, it's like no, that's a bad idea. That's bad advice. That's a bad way of doing things. You guys are actually fucking me by doing that. You know, um, bro was spitting. Scott oppresses his chat. Damn straight I do. Damn straight. Know your place. My grandfather. already. Oh, my grandfather left me 10K, and the first thing I bought was a good knife, as you should. As you should. What's going on? What's going on? Clit Eastwood. Happy Turkey Day to you too, my friend. That's Skippy Dippy. Skippy Dippy in the chat. I believe that's Skippy Dippy. Like I said, the names are all fucked up. I don't know what the deal with these names are. It's just really annoying. It's anti. Huh? What, baby? Oh, you made a noise. I thought you were trying to like say something. Oh, you're a punk. Anyway, it's antisocial advice. Yeah. Hmm. I I feel like there should be like a I feel like there should be I feel like there should be like an official word. Excuse me, jeez. I feel like there should be like an official word, right? Um, but yeah, antisocial advice is probably the best way that I could think of it right now. I'm steadfast, big Uncle Ruck. Hell yeah. Um, I miss CPT. He was awesome. Oh, oh yeah. That CPT guy. Yeah. You're right. You're right. I remember that guy. Oh boy. Yeah, that dude. Man, it's like when I help somebody, I take the role of a mentor. You know, um, a mentor doesn't tell you what to do so much as he gives you advice that you definitely want to follow. And because you respect this guy, you're going to take the advice. Now, some people just have no fucking respect. It's just the way that it is. And that includes people our age, right? But or younger for that matter. Sometimes I forget I'm an unk now. But it's true that you catch more flies with honey than vinegar, you know. And if you want people to do well, you have to actually be like a mentor to them, and that's something that a lot of these fucking old fucks, they don't understand, because they don't actually care. It's about like feeling like they're the best, you know, feeling like they know something, you know. That's like Gen Z is being even more annoying, right? Because like if there's one thing you don't hear tons and tons from the baby boomers necessarily, is the whole like Gen Z was the Gen Z Gen X is the last good Gen X is the last good generation, you know, not before all these pussy ass kids came about. You hear a lot of shit from these like loser Gen X motherfuckers, dudes who back in 1993 they were doing heroin, you know, and now they wear tight, like skin tight t-shirts with the grunt style, fucking the double muskets crossed, and then on the other side there's the American flag, and they have those like fake military caps and stuff like that, like the type of shit you see Eminem wearing. um like those guys are the absolute fucking worst. You know, I'm actually, because this made me want to vomit. It's been a little while. Um, it's been a little while, right? But I'm gonna see if I can find this tweet by this like fucking Proud Boy, like fucking guy. You know. Um. Uh. Oh man, I don't think I'm gonna find it. I don't think I'm gonna. Oh man, I don't think I'm gonna find it. Maybe is this him? Uh, man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It might be him. It might be him. I'm not 100%. Um, uh, Yeah, I don't. Damn, that's annoying. Excuse me, jeez. Wait. I think I got him. I think I got him. Yes. Yes. This kind of guy right here. This kind of guy right here. Right. I can't stand this kind of guy. I'm gonna see if I can find a. I'm gonna see if I can find a like Black Rifle Coffee guy. You know, like that's the kind of guy this is. Uh, Oh man, I know I'm gonna find it too. He doesn't post that much. I know I'm gonna find it, and this is. I'm so glad I know I'm gonna find this because it's perfect. It's the perfect encapsulation. First off, like again, like I don't even hate this guy. I don't have like a huge issue with him. Like, but it's just it's so perfect. Like this kind of guy, these kind of guys, like slightly dysgenic, you know, like spent their spent their teens and 20s doing shit that they shouldn't have been doing, you know. Um they post this shit, you know. Uh I know I'm going to find it. I know I'm going to find it. I'm putting way the Xer uniform. Yes, that's the perfect way to describe it. That's the perfect way to describe it. I'm putting way too much into this, but it just bothers me so much. It bothers me so fucking much, right? That I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, you know? Like look at this. Look at this. Ah, fuck, I'm in a bad mood. Oh, that means something. That means something. Oh, I'm in a bad mood. You know that? I'm in a bad fucking mood. Yeah, I'm mad. Don't mess with me when I'm mad. Ugh. It's like fucking get get out of here. Ah yes.
Dad,
Yeah, bud.
is Antifa really gonna be there tomorrow?
Yeah, dude, they are.
I don't want you to go.
I have to. This is what men do. We can never let the terrorist win.
I don't want you to get hurt.
I know, bud, but listen, if it's my time, it's my time. I know you'll be sad, but I hope you'll always be proud that your dad, Patriot motherfucking Rob, went out doing what men are supposed to do. I smirked at him, and he smirked back.
Okay, well, do some taekwondo on him.
I don't know Taekwondo, but I do know street fuck you. He laughed loudly and said, Okay, Dad, I love you. Love you too, kid. Oh, and hey, bud, don't worry. Nothing is gonna happen. We're going to be fine.
Metal Bros forever.
Metal bros forever. As we do the metal sign, tapping the backs of each other's hands in a fist bump. This is verbatim the conversation I had with my son last night. It may sound cheesy and overly dramatic, but it's what happened nonetheless. I don't fucking believe that. It got me to thinking all night, restless as hell, that I live in a country where a group of psychopathic, degenerate scum control a narrative of fear and intimidation so much that a 15-year-old kid, I forgot about that part. This kid is 15 years old and he's talking like that. Holy fuck. Worries his dad is going to get killed for honoring someone that was killed for honoring God, pushing the nuclear family, loving thy neighbors, speaking out about transing children, all things that are normal and real. We lost this country and it's time to take it back. If you are physically able to go tonight or any other night in any other city and you don't out of fear, you are a failure as a man, as an American, and you are letting the terrorists win. These are our streets. These are our towns, our cities. This is our country, not theirs, not anymore. I went there with JC. Me and JC were there. We left the barricade and hung around Antifa. They didn't swing on us. They didn't fucking do anything. We even it's not like we were right next to the cops the entire time. They had plenty of chances to swing on us, but they didn't, right? Like this dude, he hung inside the barricade the entire rally and he didn't press anyone. He didn't do anything from what I saw. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. To like try and take it to Antifa or anything like that. Nothing like that happened. You know, fucking again, like it's such a Gen X thing. That's Gen Xers talk like this. Even boomers don't talk like that. Even boomers are like, yeah, nah, maybe I won't do that. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe we won't do that. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Buster. Have a good night, my man. My testosterone just went up to TRT VTOR levels. Oh, damn it. Damn it, he got me. He's the real yes. I forgot about something. Man. I was gonna show you guys something, but I didn't realize there was a I didn't realize there was a I didn't realize there were some messages that I missed out on. I wanna show you guys something though. Anyway. Oh, wait a second. I might have. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Anyway. But yeah, people like that just suck, you know? It's annoying having to deal with these like baby boomer like not baby boomer, these Gen X idiots. And that's the thing is like they're practically baby boomers in and of themselves anyway, you know? But I want to show you guys something. Neo-Celt. Neo-Celt. Word of the day is a Duzka. Okay. Duzka. Duzka? Duzka. Anyway, it means awaken, apparently. We're gonna look into this a little bit. This, I believe, was set up by Copper Cab, the guy from the Gingers Have Souls video. Nation of Redland. Resources. I'm just curious about this. Red threads. Redefining race beyond whiteness. The many historical accounts of Celtic peoples combined with genetic and cultural evidence suggests that redheads possess unique characteristics that warrant consideration as a separate racial group distinct from other white populations. Excuse me. What is race? Merriam-Webster defines race as any one of the groups that humans are often divided into based on physical traits regarded as common among people of shared ancestry. Alternatively, according to Wikipedia, race is a categorization of humans based on shared physical or social qualities into groups generally viewed as distinct within a given society. The term came into common usage during the 16th century when it was used to refer to groups of various kinds, including those characterized by close kinship relations. Apparently, there's a side note. Advances in the field of genetics in the late 20th century determined no biological basis for races in the sense of the word, as all humans alive today share 99.99% of their genetic material. For this reason, the concept of distinct human races today has little scientific standing and is instead understood as primarily a sociological designation, identifying a group sharing some outward physical characteristics and some commonalities of culture and history. Well, I mean, don't we share like a large degree of our DNA with like random shit you would never expect? Like don't we share a certain amount of DNA with bananas or something like that? Even if it's 99.99% that I share with like a black person or something like that, I don't think we're the same. It's just a little thing. I don't want to get too deep into this. I just find this to be interesting, right? I find this to be interesting. I found this a while ago when Copper Cab posted about it originally. And I he talked up. This is your calling. You can be Copper Cab's top guy, dude. Copper Cab. I'm Copper Cab's top guy, dude. What if Copper Cab said, dude, you are such a physical beast that I have no choice but to make you in charge of a panzer division. Um, anyway, how are races formed? People whose ancestors have been living in the same geographic area for a long time tend to show similarities in visible characteristics such as size and shape, skin color, and hair form, uh, hair form, and also invisible characteristics such as blood groups. Some of these groups are large, as were Native Americans before Europeans and Africans came to the New World. Some are small, as are Neo Hawaiians, the descendants of Europeans, Japanese, and Polynesians. Large groups can be subdivided depending on the level of comparison being made. Sub Saharan Africans are more similar to one another than they are to Europeans. Human racial diversity is a result of people in a geographic area intermarrying, being exposed to a number of biological processes, and adapting slowly to local environments. These biological processes include combining and recombining inherited genetic material over the generations, which produce offspring and descendants who differ from their parents and ancestors. The environment may favor certain characteristics, producing populations that are on the average taller or darker or more rugged than other populations from other geographic areas. Isolation and inbreeding of some populations may produce differences as well. These natural processes occur in humans as well as other animals and are the source of much study in biology and anthropology. More on the environment and weather. Sorry, I got an email and now I'm like nervous. It's like, oh, is some fucking stupid shit happening? It's from fucking Instagram. I don't want these. These suck. I fucking hate these things. Anyway, um, more on the environment and weather with how it pertains to this specific example, redheads, later. Using race realism to justify Celts having souls is diabolical behavior. Hell yeah. Um, the relevant measurable differences in this bit that's actually different, focusing on the 99% is sophism. I mean, like here's the thing. We live in a world today where there is an accepted orthodoxy, and that accepted orthodoxy is untrue. And it's not just that you'll be looked at as like a weirdo or anything like that, right? Like for instance, if like you could be a 9/11 truther back in the day, it was considered to be okay. You wouldn't be like fired from your job or anything like that. But nowadays, if you are a whatever truther, right? If you don't believe what is the accepted orthodoxy, you are running the risk of having your life become a lot harder than it could be, than it should be. Um, so I don't necessarily blame people for kind of having like a disclaimer that's just meant to throw off anybody who's like a piece of shit, but also they're pieces of shit. So that disclaimer is not going to help anyway, you know? Oh, excuse me. Happy American Thanksgiving to you and your family, Scott, and also to chat or to us Canadians Thursday. Thank you very much, Natalia. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, you guys do Thanksgiving in October for some reason. I think I think the original Thanksgiving was in October, but we pushed it forward for one reason or another. What that reason is, I don't know. Um, but I also don't think it matters that much. Like it's not like it's a birthday or like a day of like biblical significance or anything like that. Somebody said that Thanksgiving is a religious holiday, and I could see it being a religious holiday because after all, um who are you giving thanks to, right? Like nowadays you'll have people who are just like, well, it's a time to be thankful. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Secularly, you can be thankful for the fact that you have something. But when the pilgrims celebrated that first Thanksgiving, I just realized I didn't have any cranberry sauce today. Damn. Shit, that sucks. Anyway, when the pilgrims had that first Thanksgiving, they weren't thanking. It wasn't just like, wow, I sure am thankful for the fact that I have all this stuff. It's no, I'm thankful to God that we were able to make the best of the situation that we found ourselves in. That's what that was, you know. Um, but yeah, it's not again, it's not like it's Jesus's birthday or anything like that. Isn't Copper Cab an acolyte of Gavin's? Maybe that's somehow relevant. I wouldn't call him an acolyte. I think they've just collabed, you know? Oh, excuse me. Get you some cranberry sauce and eat it out of the tin on stream, dude. I would. I love cranberry sauce that much. And it's one of the few things that I actually like the processed comes in a can shitty version better than if you were to actually make legit cranberry sauce. It's one of the few things that I would actually take the processed version over the from scratch version. There's just something about like the processed cranberry sauce that is just so fucking good. um I'm thankful there is no war at home, that there is food and water. Oh yeah, 2025 has been a really weird year. I'm not going to call it a bad year, but it's been very strange. Um, I got into a car crash a couple of weeks after I got back from work. My money was like by the time I was done repairing that car, I had like $100 left in the bank you know like I was in really really rough shape for the first 5 or 6 months of this year you know and I'm not gonna lie, like it's gotten better. I'm more stable, I'm more secure, but I wouldn't say that I am flush yet. I wouldn't say that I'm flush again. But if there's one thing I'm thankful for, it's the ability to keep moving forward regardless of whether I'm doing good or bad. um Even like I get migraines and stuff like that. I thank God for the fact that I could even experience a migraine even if they suck and I hate them. It's like the fact that I can experience a migraine, that's a gift because it means I can also experience whatever kind of pleasure I'm into as well. I get to pleasure myself, so I'm thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that. It's there's a lot to be thankful, even if you feel like the world is falling apart around you, even if you feel like your world is falling apart. Um, if you can't find something to be thankful for, even if it's just thankful for the fact that uh, the world falling apart means that when it does get put back together, you'll feel better. You're probably not trying hard enough. you're probably not trying hard enough. Oh, excuse me. We really are so privileged and lucky to be safe and healthy. Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Man. You'd know better. I was thinking he might have been a fellow traveler of some strain of Proud Boyism. You're talking about Copper Cab. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Copper Cab was a Proud Boy. There's a lot of people who joined the Proud Boys back in the day. I think even Ryan Rivera, Ryan Katsu Rivera. I think even he might have been a Proud Boy at one point or another. Um, I know plenty of dudes that became Proud Boys. I considered becoming a Proud Boy, but I'm someone who, if I'm gonna join something, if I'm gonna be a part of something, I have to one really kind of believe in it. Really kind of. I really kind of gotta believe in it, but I really gotta believe in it. But then two, I also have to feel like I can really commit to it. And for one thing, I didn't have any real issues with the Proud Boys on a theoretical level, like Western chauvinism. Yeah, I think the West is the best, of course I think so, right? Um, but I just like fucking 2016 Kekistan tier conservatism. I'm all set with that, you know. Those guys, even though the Proud Boys, like from what you kind of saw as time went on, they kind of became further and further right. They're always going to be a step or two behind. They're all like their 2018 conservatism, their 2018, well actually we're kind of further right. Their 2018 view on things is like the 2016 way that people were on like 4chan, and then their 2020 view on things was the 2018 view of things for people who um actually read books and were on 4chan or whatever, um but then also I knew that I couldn't juggle being a Proud Boy, I'm very good at joining a group. I'm very good at joining things and like being very useful and making things better and working my way up to trusted or leadership positions, you know. But like that's the thing is I need the time and the energy to be able to do that and I didn't have it. But anyway, it's 2025. We're looking for something further right than Groypers, exactly. Like I've seen Fuentes before in person, right? Uh, no hate towards Fuentes necessarily or anything like that, but I saw him and the people that he was with at this event, and it looked like a Mormon meetup. It looked like gathering of the Mormons, and me and the guys that I was with were just like, holy shit, who let the twinks out? you know, it's like, all right, that was a fun little joke you played on Charlie Kirk back in like 2019. That was you got him. You got him. You told him to look up dancing Israelis, and he had no clue what you were talking about, and he totally pwned him. Totally fucking pwned his ass. We need something a little bit more serious now. You know? It's like, man, um, oh yeah, duh. Uh, Who were the Celts? The Celts were a group of tribal societies and peoples who inhabited much of Europe in the Iron Age and the centuries leading up to the Roman conquests. They were known for their distinctive language, art, and culture. The Celtic peoples were spread across a wide area, including modern day Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, Germany, France, and parts of Central Europe. Yeah, it was basically like there were three main ethnic groups back in the Bronze Age or back in ancient times, and that was like the Romans, which like I don't even know what you would call them on like an ethnic level. Like I don't know if Roman specifically is like an ethnic group in that way, at least back in that time. Then you had the Celts who dominated like with a clan system, right? And not every clan, not every tribe, excuse me, was like exactly the same, but they all it was like a loose sort of confederacy almost. And then you also had the Germanics, and the Romans didn't even want to fuck with the Germanics. They were like, nah, 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 we'll leave them alone, you know. But yeah, that was funny to learn about, because when you think of Celts, you think of like Ireland and Scotland and stuff like that. But no, they were everywhere at one point. Um, Anyway, the Celts were described by ancient Greek and Roman historians as having distinct physical features such as red hair, blue eyes, long limbs, and pale skin. These physical descriptions, recorded by Roman, Greek, and early Christian historians, highlight the uniqueness of the Celtic phenotype, particularly among tribes in Britain and Gaul, Gaul being France. The following are direct quotes from the writings of some of these historians. From Tacitus, I gotta sneeze. Uh-oh. I don't know if it's gonna come out. I hope it comes out, because I hate it when you feel like you gotta sneeze and then you don't. Damn, I might be good. Anyway, for my own part, I agree with those who think that the tribes of Germany are free from all taint of intermarriages with foreign nations, and that they appear as a distinct, unmixed race, like none but themselves. Hence, too, the same physical peculiarities throughout so vast a population. All have fierce blue eyes, red hair, huge frames, fit only for a sudden exertion. They are less able to bear laborious work. Heat and thirst they cannot in the least endure. To cold and hunger their climate and their soil inure them. Inure. Interesting. From again, Tacitus. Who were the original inhabitants of Britain, whether they were indigenous or foreign, is, as usual among barbarians, little known. Their physical characteristics are various, and from these conclusions may be drawn. The red hair and large limbs of the inhabitants of Caledonia point clearly to a German origin. I think Caledonia is like France. I believe it might be France. So that's Gallic. Um, the inhabitants of Caledonia have reddish hair and large, loose jointed bodies. Loose jointed. This is from Jordanes. The Picts and Caledonians were red haired Rutilantia, uh, from Eumenes. Uh, Almost all Gaul. It's just funny, this short little one. Almost all Gauls are tall and fair skinned with reddish hair. Their savage eyes make them fearful objects. They are eager to quarrel and excessively truculent. When, in the course of a dispute, any of them calls in his wife, a creature with gleaming eyes, much stronger than her husband, they are more than a match for a whole group of foreigners, especially when the woman, with swollen neck and gnashing teeth, swings her great white arms and begins to deliver a rain of punches mixed with kicks, like missiles launched by the twisted strings of a catapult. That's kind of a fucking hilarious sight to think about. We'll keep going. Why is Scotland the homeland? To understand why Scotland is regarded as the homeland, we must consider both environment and ancestry. As discussed earlier, climate plays a powerful role in shaping human traits. In Northern Europe, particularly in Scotland, the persistent cloud cover and lack of UV exposure created a very specific evolutionary challenge: how to absorb enough sunlight to produce vitamin D. Red hair combined with fair skin emerged as a genetic solution to that problem. Scientists believe this was no accident. Scientists believe that this was no accident, but a long term adaptation, one that increased the likelihood of survival in dim northern climates. Today, Scotland still has the highest percentage of red-haired people in the world, with Ireland not far behind, but numbers alone don't tell the full story. This trait wasn't just functional. In Celtic myth and folklore, red hair was associated with magic, insight, and even royalty. Kang Scott. We was Kangs, boy. Uh, fuck. Where'd I get it? Where'd I get it? Where? Oh yes. To be flame-haired wasn't merely to be different. It was to be marked. The land, the stories, and the bodies of its people all reflected a deeper pattern. Even ancient Roman historians like Tacitus and Ammianus, Ammianus, Ammianus Marcellinus noted the fierce appearance and distinct features of these northern tribes. While some scholars debated whether these groups were Celtic or Germanic, what they agreed on was clear. They were unlike any other people that they had encountered. This is why Scotland matters, not only for the gene, but for what it represents, a crucible where climate, myth, and ancestry converge to forge an identity unlike any other in Europe. You know, it is funny, right? Because like my dad was born with red hair, but he turned strawberry blonde. My grandfather on his side was he had black hair. His grandfather, his dad had, I believe, like brown or black hair, and then his dad had brown or black hair. So it's funny that red hair just fucking came out of nowhere with my dad, and then it changed, and then there's me, who I've been a redhead my entire life. It is funny. It is funny. Maybe I am marked. Maybe I am marked. Maybe you're an Udmert, Scott. Maybe indeed. Um. Anyway, why are there so few redheads? Ancient sources describe the Celtic tribes of northwestern Europe as a distinct people, tall, broad, pale-skinned, with fierce blue eyes and red hair, and loose limbs, apparently. This wasn't some fringe mutation. Among the indigenous populations of pre-Roman Britain and Gaul, red hair was the dominant ethnic trait, but today redheads are rare. What happened? The answer lies in conquest and erasure. When the Roman Empire expanded into northwestern Europe, it encountered Celtic tribes, many of whom carried this unique phenotype. Over time, the Romans did what empires do. They absorbed, enslaved, and diluted the peoples they conquered. Red-haired slaves were especially prized in Roman markets for their rarity and exotic appearance. You know they bought us to fuck the women. You know that's why they bought us. Wigs made from red hair were imported from the north to decorate other captives and increase their sale value. Oh man, that's hilarious. Myths and okay, we're gonna check that one out. Not tonight though. Not tonight. You know, probably later. Probably another time. Through forced migration, intermarriage, and cultural destruction, the Romans began dismantling the red-haired identity, not just genetically, but spiritually. And the Roman conquest was only the beginning. In the centuries that followed, wave after wave of new invaders continued the process. Anglo-Saxons from 410 to 600 AD pushed the Brittonic Celts westward and northward. The Vikings in 793 to 1066 AD settled coastal Ireland and Scotland, mixing bloodlines. The Normans from 1066 AD introduced feudalism and colonial control. The British Empire from the 1530s all the way up to the 1800s outlawed language, dress, and customs, especially in Ireland and the Highlands. Excuse me, jeez. Anyway, each wave chipped away at the ancestral phenotype, not through natural evolution, but through domination. Today, red hair survives only where resistance lasted longest, in the outer edges of Europe, Ireland, Scotland, and pockets of Wales and Brittany. Looking at the several images we've provided below, click them and you will see a description for each. There is a clear correlation between the area of land where the Roman Empire ceased its expansion and the modern-day population percentage of red-haired people in Europe. It is also no coincidence that the same region is the home to the highest percentage of people who speak Celtic languages today. Celtic languages basically exist here. That's it, you know? The only Celtic government that exists is Ireland. That's it. It's the only Celtic government in the world, you know? Are we sure this wasn't written by AI? I don't know. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. I don't know though. Could this have really happened? Think this couldn't happen? It has many times. Just as the red-haired Celtic peoples were forced to defend their ancestral lands from the Roman Empire, so too did indigenous populations across the Americas, Australia, and Canada face relentless invasion, displacement, and erasure by colonial powers. I mean, we stopped them from eating each other, but estimating the pre-Columbian population of Native Americans is difficult due to gaps in historical records, but most scholars agree that it was in the tens of millions, with estimates ranging from 10 million to over 100 million across the Americas. Today, the current population of Native Americans in the United States is approximately 5.2 million, and in Canada, around 1.7 million. Meanwhile, there are approximately 197 million white Americans living in the U.S. today. There's 300 million Americans and probably more at this point. So I wonder where the other 103 million are. I wonder what they are. The point is simple. A population flip of unimaginable scale can happen, and it can happen fast, even in regions far larger than Ireland or the British Isles. The story of the ancient red-haired Celts isn't unique. It's part of a broader pattern that repeats across history: invasion, assimilation, suppression, displacement. The parallels between what happened to the Celtic people and what happened to the native populations across the world serve as powerful reminders of the enduring fight for cultural survival, identity, and dignity in the face of imperial domination. Even now, the echoes of conquest reverberate through time, while the red-haired Celts may not have treaties, monuments, or museums in their name, their near erasure mirrors the same fate faced by countless other indigenous groups. Redland stands not just for memory, but for the preservation of a phenotype, a people, and a legacy. So what now? If red hair truly was the dominant trait among indigenous Celtic populations, if it was nearly erased by centuries of conquest, intermarriage, and cultural suppression, and if what remains today is a fragment, a living remnant of a once widespread people, then it isn't just a curiosity of history, it's a call. Redland isn't a fantasy, it is a movement to protect, reconnect, and preserve what was almost lost. Not just the gene, not just the myth, but the people, the identity, the legacy. We're not asking for sympathy, we're asking for memory, we're asking for recognition, and most of all, we're asking for each other. Aw. Redland lives in anyone who carries the flame, feels the exile, or simply knows in their bones, we didn't vanish, we were scattered. Hell yeah, scattered to the wind like the 12 tribes. We're the 12th tribe, we're the lost tribe. Of course I'm gonna join the Discord. Oh, it's a fucking invalid invite. Damn. That's annoying. Anyway, we are not the past. We are the return. Oh, shit. Okay. Yo, all right. Yo, hold on. Yo. It'd be kind of cool if it was real, but if it's Copper Cab, then it has to be a lark. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to want. Oh, uh-oh. 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 Gingerism is racism. In ancient Greek myths, redheads were said to turn into vampires after death, and during the 16th and 17th centuries, most women who were branded as witches had red hair. Somewhere around 45,000 red-haired women are estimated to have been burned as witches during the trials, which is a considerable portion of the population. To reiterate, that was likely due to the fact that since having red hair is so rare, you stand out from the crowd and are therefore evil. Even before the witch trials, 15th century artwork portrayed witches with red hair. Yes, and actually, this brings up a pretty good point that I think I've talked about once or twice, right? Um, to reiterate, that was likely due to the fact that since having red hair is so rare, you stand out from the crowd. That's like unironically, that is why for a while you were seeing characters get blackwashed in movies and TV shows and other media, and it was always a red-haired character that would be replaced by like a black actor or actress or something like that. It's because that was the easiest way for them to do that sort of thing, because gingers are so different from other white people that we are basically an other. We are the other white people in the world, I guess you could say. And because of that, it was real easy for people to replace ginger characters, because other white people are going to look at that and they're going to be like, oh man, wow. I mean, I don't look like that guy in the first place, so it's not as offensive to me. They wouldn't replace somebody with blonde hair, blue eyes, brown hair, brown eyes, skin that's not as pale, or anything like that. They wouldn't do that. Instead, they're going to go after the person that they feel that they have the least amount of people that they're going to piss off over it. It even almost becomes a bit of a joke. Like, people will call it out with a laugh. They'll be like, "Oh man, gingers just can't catch a break, huh?" Like, as much of a joke as this seems, right? Saying the gingerism is racism thing, it's not even like it's there's a point. There is kind of a point, if you're being honest, if we're being honest here. um Sadly, redheads also receive a great deal of abuse. The Center for Equality Policy Research think tank recently claimed that redheads suffer more discrimination per head of population than ethnic minorities. Having carried out an experiment, they said a job applicant with ginger hair is 7 times more likely to be rejected than a dark haired applicant, and 8 times more likely than a fair haired applicant, probably. Because, like, I mean, if you're a girl, right, ginger girls a lot of the time are very, very attractive. You have the flip side of that where they're just absolutely positively dweeby as fuck, right? But ginger guys don't even have like an attractiveness to them a lot of the time. We either look like fucking axe murderers like I do. Like that was actually something we talked about today at Thanksgiving. People were just like shooting the shit about stuff, and I forget who brought it up, but my brother told me that like people used to go to him and be like, "Yo, is Scott pissed off about something?" And it's like, no, this is just my face. I'm perfectly fine right now. I'm not upset in any way, shape, or form. I'm actually kind of happy to be doing something that I enjoy doing. But this is just my fucking face. I can't do anything about it, you know? And it scares people. And I actually kind of hate that it scares people, because I'm really a nice guy. I try to make sure that I'm being as kind to everybody as I can be. I go out of my way. I put myself in discomfort to make other people comfortable, you know? And a lot of that doesn't matter to people, because all they see is this face and they're like, "Oh, he must be a bad guy. He must be mean. He must be angry about something. He must not be happy. He must be like bad." It's it's crazy, you know? It fucking sucks. And then on the flip side of that, you have the axe murderer guys, and then you have the dweeb guys, the redhead dweebs, you know? So yeah, like, it wouldn't surprise me one bit to find that like people who interview gingers, specifically ginger guys, they're probably like, "I don't want this guy around, because either A, he's a dweeb and I don't want to see his dweeby face, or B, I'm intimidated by him and I don't want him around if I'm going to feel intimidated by him. Meanwhile, I'm just chilling." you know? Um but anyway, Having carried out an experiment of Barbara McNulty, a lecturer in psychology at the University of the Western Isles, said that red hair still gives out deep cultural signals. The history of prejudice and discrimination against people with red hair dates back thousands of years. According to The Week, persons with red hair have to deal with quote unquote insults, taunts, and hate crimes. Discrimination against people with red hair may be a factor in its relative rareness, as well as cultural attitudes and collective mythology. Judas Iscariot may have had red hair. Oof. Oof. Ouch. Ouch. No, but like honestly, yeah, like being that different from everybody, I'm not gonna lie, like um you grow if you're a sensitive young boy like me, if you're a sensitive young unk like me, all you ever wanted was to like be loved by people, right? um but like when you feel like people just see your red hair and they are gonna be like over it, yeah, it does kind of hurt a little bit, not gonna lie. It does kind of hurt a little bit, you know. It took me a while to gain confidence with women, right? One of the reasons I didn't have confidence is because of my hair. It was so weird or just out of the ordinary that, yeah, I was kind of like, oh, she's probably not into gingers and stuff like that. The fact is, women are into whatever makes them feel a certain way in the moment. I don't like it is what it is. Like who gives a shit? I've never let my after a certain point, I never let my red hair be like something where I'm like she probably wouldn't like me because I have fucking red hair. It's like whatever, you know. It's just my hair. It just is what it is, you know. Um but like it was a pain in the ass, especially dating women where it's like you have women who are like I like red hair almost as though it's like a fetish of theirs. It's like, oh, so am I just a fetish then? Or you have girls who are like, oh, I don't usually like guys with red hair, but, and it's like, that's not the compliment you think it is. You know, that just tells me you thought that I was physically unattractive to you and I won you over with my personality or something like that. And now you're like willing to put up with it. You know, it's like, ooh, you know, like these are things that are not like a huge deal or anything like that. But if I'm being honest with you, yeah, like they did have an effect on me when I was younger, you know, and I had to learn to be comfortable in my own skin and stuff like that in a way that a lot of people probably didn't. Everybody has to learn to be comfortable in their own skin in one way or another, right? But it's a lot easier for somebody who is a little bit closer to what is considered to be the norm to learn that comfort than it is for somebody who's further away from that norm, you know. And as somebody who was so far away from that norm combined with other things in my life, then yeah, it kind of, yeah, there were moments, that's for sure, you know. Oh yeah, taste is whatever, but it's only truly attractive if you unattractive if you ache over it. What do you mean what do you mean ache over it, Oddest? I'm ginger, got made fun of for it. Did you ever get made fun of for it and wish your hair was another color? Oh yeah, of course. You know, 100%. Um I gotta floss my teeth, but yeah, of course, you know. I was in like the sixth or seventh grade when the Gingers Have Souls episode of South Park came out. You know, or not Gingers Have Souls. When the Ginger Kids episode of South Park came out, and then Copper Cab. I think I might have been a freshman in high school. Then Copper Cab made that video, you know, and I had to deal with that. You know, it was like annoying and weird. You know, um, it is what it is though. I'm not like angry about it or anything like that. Well, we'll check out more of this Neo Celt thing at a later point. I have about 15 minutes left in this stream. I wanted to just do a boy. YouTube having issues apparently with buffering. Apparently I don't know. I'm gonna take that thing off. Wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong one. Um, if you ever let your gingerness turn yourself into an insecure goblin over it, it's the goblin bit that creates truly bad vibes and not the ginger bit. Oh yeah, of course, you know. It's like I said, like I hit a certain point where I was just like, whatever, it's just my hair, you know. Um and yeah, like I've had plenty of girlfriends in my life. I am, not to brag, but I am pretty good with women. If I'm being honest with you, I'm good at, you know, I'm a flirt is what I am. I'm a flirt. Um, and like if I obsessed over, like if I obsessed over my red hair and how it doesn't like how it's just not normal, I probably would have never gotten my wife because I would have been like, oh dude, she probably isn't into me. She probably wouldn't be into me for real. She probably matched with me by accident or something, dude, you know? Like you gotta like everybody shits, you know, everybody poop. They hop on the toilet and they just have a giant fucking blowout to start the day. Everybody does, you know. Everybody has those things about them that it's just like you don't even want to know about it. It's disgusting, you know. Really? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know how well you guys can hear or see me right now. It says there's a poor connection. I'm hoping everything's okay. I'm hoping everything's all good, you know, but it seems like it might not be. I don't know who can hear me. I don't know what the deal is, what's going on, but I will probably head out if I can't you know, if I can't figure that shit out, you know. Excuse me. Um that's so frustrating, man. That's so fucking frustrating. All right, apparently we're back to normal. Apparently we're back to normal. I have a little under 10 minutes until I'm going to get out of here. I'm I'm hoping I'm hoping we'll be all good, you know. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to finish this up. There's like two fucking people watching right now on YouTube. Probably nobody watching anywhere else. But you know what? I like for my streams to be 2 hours, so I don't give a fuck. We're gonna keep on trying as best we can. Is what we're gonna keep on keeping on with it. You know. Um. Sorry, just checking some shit. But yeah, I've had issues. I've had issues with my ISP, and I just don't even know what to do. Scott, what was your childhood home like? You mean like my home, like the house that I lived in? The house that I lived in was not huge. Um, you know, everybody was kind of on top of each other. It was me, my parents, and my brother. You know, it was kind of hard to have privacy. You know, like everybody had their own rooms eventually, but you know, like you could never not hear whoever else was in the house. You know, other than that, I really don't know how else to explain it. You know, I don't want to talk too much about it because for one thing, I don't even know what to say, and then for another thing, I don't want to like, you know, that's like whatever. Um, oh, we're back to poor. We're back to poor connection. This is insane. I gotta scream at the Indians. I gotta fucking scream at these Indians, dude. I gotta absolutely let them have it. I gotta fucking, I gotta start sending threats to them is what I gotta do. You, fuck you, Blondie. Fuck you, Blondie. All right, man. I don't know what else to say. I guess I should just say thank you. I always say thank you to you guys, but you know it's Thanksgiving, so I think it's especially time to be saying thank you to people. You know, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. I wouldn't be doing like I say the numbers don't matter, but the fact is, if I was only getting like my first stream, right? Let's check out what my first stream was, right? Um, I fucking 393. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, fucking you can't even that's so stupid. That's so fucking stupid. You can't even sort by date anymore on YouTube. You can't sort by date, you know? But like when I first started doing this, when I first started doing streams and stuff like that, right? Um when I first started doing streams and stuff, I was getting like 30 views total. Like the total number of views I would get on my streams was in the like 30s, you know, like around there, you know. At the height, right? In like 2023 to 2024, like my average would be like 6 to 700, I would say, and it would not be completely unheard of for me to get like a couple thousand as well. Um, removed. There's fucking. Mm. Yes, my first stream, the first stream that I can find on my channel was a no. Damn, I can't even find fucking hang. Oh yeah, yeah. One of the first streams that I did on my channel that was not like directly related to like Brandon Buckingham, right? That's why I got the 1,200 views on that stream that I did, was because I was coaching Brandon, and I made it known, hey, I'm Brandon's coach. The first stream that I ever did was a little under an hour long, and I got 25 views total on it. The next one was 17 views total, and it was about 45 minutes long. You know, like if I was still getting those kinds of views, if I'm being honest with you, I probably would stop, because it's like, oh wow, that's really that crazy. So thank you all for being here, so that I can at least say that I have 105 total views on my streams. Thank thank you for that. I appreciate it. You know, um, You should be able to sort your videos by oldest. For some reason, I can't figure that out. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I'm just dumb, you know? I can only find the filter. I can't find like a sort by or anything like that, you know? Um, yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid because that seems like it would be something that would be a very boilerplate, very elementary thing to do is give someone the option to be able to sort from oldest to newest. You know, you would think that's something that they would just do, but I guess not. I fucking guess not. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, thank you guys for making the last couple of years of my life interesting and cozy. Um, I don't know what the next year of my life is going to hold. I'm in kind of a transitional period of my life, as I've mentioned plenty of times. But I just want you guys to know that like I don't know what else to do other than to just keep reminding you, you know, that I am very grateful and thank you everybody who pops in. Thank you everybody who has popped in and you don't anymore for whatever reason, you know. I really I feel fortunate that I was for a brief moment able to be more than just another fucking person shouting into the ether with like two whole views on my live stream and one of them is myself. You know? Um we got a little under a minute. We got a little under a minute. I'm thankful for my wife as well. I thank God every night for my wife. You know, good, bad, whatever's going on. I thank God for my wife. I think she's been a positive in my life for sure in a couple of different ways. And I'm really happy for her. She's asleep right now, so she can't even hear the glaze. Excuse me. Usually I talk shit, but you know she can't hear the glaze, so it's okay for me to say these things. I do love my wife, you know, and I'm really happy she's in my life, you know. Um, I'm trying to think of other people, other things that I could be thankful for, or that I could at least share that I'm thankful for, you know. Um, and you know I'm sure there's other people but at this point I don't feel it's like 100% necessary to name them and stuff like that, you know. um but yeah, we just passed the 2 hour mark. I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. All right. I don't know when I'm gonna stream again. Well, it'll probably be sometime next week. I'm not gonna be able to do the Friday stream or the Saturday stream. That's part of the reason why I streamed today, is because I'm not gonna be able to do either of those this weekend because I have some stuff going on that's gonna make it impossible for me to stream. So um, I just want to say one more time, thank you. You know, I am going to head on out. When I do get back, by the way, meaning like when I like when I when I'm back to streaming next week, um I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work on that Jeopardy stream that I was hinting at. I gotta talk to Aria. He was gonna be somebody that I was gonna stream with. And then there's a couple other people that said that they would stream for the Jeopardy stream, you know? And yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll do that. All right. Again, one last time, thank you all so much. I love you. All right. And until next time, peace out.